So, are black men defending just pearly things? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logical Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, there's something that I always noticed about black people growing up, especially after becoming conservative. And that is when race starts, brains stop. Just like whenever blacks hear race or racism, cries of racism, they just turn into a bunch of mindless zombies that's easily to manipulate. And there are groups of individuals out there that takes advantage of this. Most notably, the race hustlers. Nobody takes advantage of this more than race hustlers. They just cry racism. They know they can just cry racism, and they're gonna send black people into this race zombie mode, and then they can easily manipulate them. They do this all the time because a lot of these race hustlers, they profit off of racism. And, you know, of course, the Democrats do this as well. You know, every election cycle, presidential election cycle, they start crying racism, get black folks to fall in line to vote for them, and then we don't hear from them for 3.5 years. They do this all the time. Now, we know, again, there's still black people out here who are milking this whole just pearly things, this idea that somehow, because she did this interview with Nick Fuentes, she's a racist white woman, and even though there's no evidence of racism with Pearl, it's nonsense that these race hustlers keep making up. And they thought that a lot of these race hustlers thought that they can just cry race and black folks are all just supposed to fall in line as normal. But what they thought is that this has not happened. You have a lot of blacks, some of these race hustlers, especially these females, they're like almost scratching their head at why any man would defend a pasty white woman over a black woman, right? Because they're supposed to be on the black code. You know what the black code is if you support black. You always support black no matter what, anything happens. You support the black. It doesn't matter how much jackassery that black people are involved in. You're just supposed to support it because you're black. And what's happening is that they're not seeing this as much. And a lot of men are starting to wake up, you know, thanks to Red Pill, because Red Pill content is waking a lot of men up, and including black men, to say, wait a minute. You know, what are we marching and protesting for? What are we complaining for? And I'm going to have to tell you, there's nobody out there who's been more Red Pill than Tommy Sotomayor. He may not consider himself to be Red Pill, but there ain't nobody out there as more Red Pill than him. But to the question of the video, are black men defending Pearl? The answer to that question is no. Black men are not defending Pearl. What these black men are doing are defending what's right. Again, we on the new code. Matter of fact, this is actually just the old school code. And that code is, you do the right thing. You do what's right. If something is wrong, you call it out. And you do not let nonsense get in the way of telling the truth. And this is what these black men are saying. They saw this, you know, how the reaction that these race hustlers were doing and inciting black people into because of just probably that interview. And they were looking at this and saying, well, why y'all getting so enraged? There was nothing in this video that warrants the level of outrage that we've seen, all that fake outrage. We're not going to join in this nonsense anymore. We're not going to join in this nonsense of keeping black people stuck on stupid by injecting race into everything, crying race, and then turning blacks into zombies. We're not going to perpetuate victimhood, because we know that the number one problem facing the black community is victimhood. And then you can branch off inside under the umbrella of victimhood to go into other areas, but victimhood is the number one problem. We're not going to be part of that nonsense. We're not going to perpetuate this. So we're not defending just pearly things. We're defending what's right. We're calling everything for what it is. We call it, if something is wrong, somebody's wrong, we call them out. If Pearl was wrong in something, those same black men will call her out. And these race hustlers will have no problem, but somehow you can't call black people out in what we doing wrong. And this is what's happening. If nobody noticed, I know a lot of these race hustlers were saying that, you know, these black men are despicable. No, y'all are the despicable ones. You race hustlers keep constantly telling black people that they're victims all day. You're the despicable ones. What we're saying is we're not going to join in the nonsense anymore. And this is basically what you saw with these red pillars seemingly coming to the aid of Pearl. It's not like we are defending Pearl. We're defending the right thing to do. She did nothing wrong. There was nothing in this video, as I saw it in that interview, that I can say I need to go storm the beaches of Normandy. You know, if we had to save Private Ryan because of that interview, Private Ryan would have never been found because of the nonsense that's in this video. But anyway, y'all, you know, to sum this up, no, black men are not defending Pearl. Black men are doing what's right, doing the right thing, and calling out everything for what it is. No longer are we going to be led. This is what these black men are saying, these red pill men. No longer are we going to be led by the race narrative. No longer is the black code going to have effect upon us. And no amount of sign language, no coon, Uncle Tom, bed wench for the women, you know, coconut, Oreo, no amount of that sign language is going to affect us anymore. We're going to do what's right. And if blacks are right, we'll say that they're right. If blacks are wrong, we're going to call them out on their wrong behavior. In this case, these race hustlers are wrong, which they usually are wrong, because they usually are making race out of everything and injecting race into everything to keep blacks into victimhood state. That's what they do. They peddle race and victimhood and keep peddling that drug to black people to keep black people addicted. But again, people are waking up, and what they're going to find is only going to get worse and worse, because red pill is not going anywhere no time soon. Anyway, y'all, like I said, black men, we were not defending Pearl. We were defending what's right. Regardless of who gets mad, if you mad with that, so be it. Anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.